IVM.
My neighbors have an 8-year-old daughter who attends a dance class after school and then also comes home and practices. Whenever I see her practice, I'm reminded of my own childhood. As we grow up, our passions are often left behind as we work towards securing the financial futures of those we love. In our show, A Sip of Finance, we often talk about these financial responsibilities. Now imagine if you could still work on your dreams while someone took care of your financial responsibilities. करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे. SBI Life अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए. Log on to www.sbilife.co.in for more details. IRDAI registration number 111. Welcome to SBI Life Insurance presents A Sip of Finance by Priyanka Acharya. SBI Life Insurance, अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए. How much will I get in return? What if I stop paying in between? Do you have anything where I can do short-term payments? Are there any tax savings if I invest here? These questions won't seem new or unheard to you, right? So in today's episode, let's understand the process of KYC. Welcome to SBI Life Insurance presents A Sip of Finance podcast by Priyanka Acharya. I'm your host Shanali, and this is a lady special podcast that will help you get better with your finances. Conceptualized by Priyanka Acharya, a financial consultant who simplifies a lot of financial jargon for you. She comes with 14 plus years of experience in this field and has helped many grow their money. So, you can now learn simple finance not just in English but in 7 other languages. Let's get started. So, there was a family who questioned a financial advisor for around 45 days. Daily, they had new queries. They were suspicious about whether their money would be misused. They worried about the company shutting down. What if this advisor changed careers? After all these questions, they decided on a combination of investment and insurance for 3 family members: husband, wife, and their 20-year-old daughter. The advisor was finally relieved and also happy that he learned a lot through this kind of interrogation process. The advisor said, "Let us do the process. Let me have all your KYC documents and checks first." Now, here was the twist. The wife said, "Oh, I use my husband's account only for all transactions, and I'm not yet the joint holder since the process of adding a holder is a little lengthy." The daughter said, "I have a minor's PAN card and a minor bank account which mom had pushed Papa to open when I was a kid. We had to go to the bank for formalities, but I'm so busy with college and assignments that it is still pending." The husband said, "Oh, my check leaves are over. I will have to order a new checkbook and only then can I pay." The advisor got restless. He thought, "I did so much background work, finally convinced them, and now if they take 15 days to clear their documents, they may change their mind." And the advisor was absolutely right. After 15 days, when there was a follow-up, the family said, "We didn't get the time to get all these documents sorted out due to work and priorities. Let us do this next month." The entire momentum of saving, investing, and insuring got a break. And no, it was not because of a scam. It was not because some neighbor or friend influenced them. It was purely because the compliance documents were not in place. This is a learning lesson for each family. Please understand that your documents are your legal identity. The wife says, "I am the nominee, but I'm sorry, I don't have an account in my name to receive any funds." The husband says, I have a good amount of investments, but I lost my PAN card and I don't have a soft copy as well. That is precisely why it is said that we have education, but financial literacy is still to be achieved. We don't treat these as urgent or important tasks. So, when we decide that on the next Saturday I will go to the bank and change my locker nomination, suddenly there is an office meeting scheduled and we postpone the bank visit and convince ourselves that it's okay, not too urgent, and that we will go to the bank on the next Saturday. Yes, I agree that the show must go on. But here, the delay goes on and on and on. So, in today's episode, let's understand the process of KYC. First, it is a standard address proof. This will be mandatory for any process. Earlier, ration cards used to be popular. Now, since families above 1 lakh incomes do not attain ration benefits, many families don't have these cards. Currently, the most popular address proof is UID, Aadhaar card. For your UID card, which we call Aadhaar in India, remember something very important. As per the rules, only mention the last 4 digits of your UID on any proposal or application form. Other documents necessary are your electricity bills, mobile bills, passport, driving license, voter ID, senior citizen cards, rent agreements, or premises purchase agreements. Here, there is one little task for you. Please check all investments and insurance documents and accounts once. See if the address is common across all of them. Whenever you change your address, please take the effort to change addresses everywhere. In fact, in Mediclaim, few companies have a mandate. If the claim amount currently is above 1 lakh rupees, an address check is done whereby if your address on your policy differs even a bit from your UID, then a query is raised. Claim is settled only when there is a clarification from the client. Then there is an identity proof. Usually, PAN card is mandatory in all financial transactions and hence it is the most popular identity proof. Check which signature appears on your PAN. Is it the same as the signature you use during financial transactions? As far as possible, keep it identical. Today itself, pick up your PAN and check all the spellings properly. Even a small difference like Meena with an I and Meena with a double E can create a problem. There is now an eKYC facility. Here, there are many options. But let me explain the simplest way to you. While starting any new financial investments and insurances, you can get eKYC if you have a valid UID Aadhaar. eKYC automatically picks up all your details from the Aadhaar to make your process simpler. You just need to enter the OTP that you will receive on the number linked to your Aadhaar. Just remember, you must have a valid and updated UID, you should have the correct mobile number on it, and that's it. This is a basic process. I used to feel it is such a simple requirement. Everybody has proper documents. But with experience, I discovered that a lot of people still have various errors in all these documents. These are the little things that matter much. The Government of India has even launched a digital locker facility a few years back where you can securely store digital copies of all these critical documents. Utilize these facilities and see how the rest of the processes become very simple. In one of my earlier episodes, I asked you to spend one Sunday every month on family finances. Use that time for these little things too. And remember, KYC is not a burden. It is actually the backbone of your finances. Enjoy the process and let your wealth have a unique identification. That's a wrap on this episode of SBI Life Insurance Presents a Sip of Finance podcast. We will see you in the coming week. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this podcast helpful, do give us a shout out on social media and tag us. It will help us empower more people. If you want to reach out to Priyanka, she is available on Instagram at Priyanka Acharya and on LinkedIn as Priyanka Acharya. You can listen to this podcast on the IVM Podcasts app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts. Do follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to SBI Life Insurance Presents A Sip of Finance by Priyanka Acharya. SBI Life Insurance, अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey. Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On The Habit Coach, Dr. Vishaka tells Ashton how it's possible to reverse chronic disease with lifestyle changes. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam meets Sushil Agarwal. He's the founder and director at Ethica Insurance Broking. They talk about the importance of choosing the right health insurance policy. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth talks about comfort zones and how they hinder our growth. On Chuski Finance, Priyanka shares 7 super hit tips to manage your finances. And on Hansvani, here's the story Shaheed. It explores whether the respect for a martyr can change based on his caste. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcast has launched merchandise and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcast website and click on the shop tab and check out the first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media as well. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, wherever you do that, that is really helpful for us. And do remember, you can also check a lot of our shows out on YouTube. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, you get a list of all of our channels. We're also doing a small listener survey, so please do help us out with that. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/survey, it'll help us understand a little bit more about our listeners. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, Jupiter, a digital banking app, and Capgemini. Get the future you want. Thank you so much. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible.